me. I know that today we are having a very cold weather, and it is cold. But rather, instead of stay home, being stay warm and cozy, and you decided to come and to join my conversations. So thank you.
아니 개판다 맞을 때 지금 너도 왜 무인도 지금 성대 지금 샘다 지지 당하고 무이시고 무인도 들으지라 샘 지지 당하는데 무이식 가서 샘 지지 샘 당하고 소소라 남기 그 인딩 그 요아적다 띠낭라 지금 당하는 샘은낭라 잠나도 지요에 나는 당하고 샘 라비 차트 내길 용의 차트 샘 지디 용의 차트 때야 지금 오시와지 애들 수수 냠는지 이야기 단계에서 적당 샘도 사진을 오죠. 샘도 사진 띠동라네. 정가로 가라 먹으나 소소도 거예요. 아니 와도 그 같은 차단 공기지도 소셜당 때문에 소도 때리고 말짓다 자도 때리고 사진 단지 뭐되나? 같은 때 삼도나 때 이모도 결혼서 리무이 있는 거 샤워 때를 근데 소소 먹혀지 전 먹혀지. 이거 갈라는 거. 때 마치 같은 샘띠 사진 샘 띠동라네. 같은 샴바다 향지 에너지 젠펜 때를 샘장보 근데 삼노양지양 삼당다나 띠강라이나 저비 사변대 종고 사변대 종나 소소라니 그땅라이나 띠땅남바탐 시디 요아도 근데 지금 이용고 호리기 날에 이용고 쪼당 낭미도 소마에는 대기땅다 맞지 그러면 지켜도 그럴 저당 아주 좀 일도 아주 지금 샘기 사지땅다 기회 샘그 대기 용사가 사지로 고고섬데 샘기고 샘고 겨울을 띠 코르티를 링어니오데 코 왕도 로버트 샘도 시대가 왕들이 샘도 정보 소스나 리근 그 샤워도 샘도 정보 소스도 그런데 지금 어제 현대 파솔로 판스미와 야호 정보 때문에 년보 기술 동대 비트 용거 근데 이 리기 남들 단단한 나라 파솔로 때문에 그 처음에 봐 저핑 리기 남들 리기 소로면 어때서 때라때는 라진 시대 용거 샘 늦잖아 이 왕들이 리근 너는 다토르서 파우치도 보자는 이모 매와더니 리기 남주도 자때부터 파쇼니 정말 기고 매하네 라고 잘 그래서 당 아주 처음에 아주 무일지거든 대화도 받는 데는도 그래 내가 또 년 망보요하다 조보 망보요하다 현수 소바요하다 아주 참 얘기로 와 하여튼 띵 아주 참 있었는데 샘 이야기 당할 때 있는 삼진 어때 뭐 정말 삼로 동시가 테스트나 나이 고네 어디다 뭐좀 야오도 삼나 샘 나좀 소소도 양는지
Well, as usual, and I like to again remind every one of you here. What's the purpose of this gathering and why we're here? What's our goal? So it is essential always think about this question and then. So make sure you understand your purpose, and then do take the action or respond to that purpose accordingly. Our purpose is put in the very plain language, and is to transforming our basic mental attitude or change our mindset. And we know that the mind, that's our source, and it's the base, or that's the essential part, whatever you name it, and from which we experience our existence, right? And so we know the things, and we feel, we do respond, acting or reacting, and everything is whatever we do, we feel, we understand is because the mind is doing because of the mind. But this mind, it's general mind, or in other words, it's the general setting of our mind, or conditions of our mind, and in the present moment is kind of involved with great varieties of various sort of elements. And this mind is give us all kinds of experiences, And so our essential goal of the life is to be happy and then to avoid the suffering. And but we're having a hard time to achieve it. That is because this mind is involved with or sort of popped up or brain give us or set us to or direct us to all kinds of different scenarios, different mental experiences in different situations. And the good news is that we realize among this great variety and multiplicities of the mental sort of elements, there are always some kind of decencies there, some kind of excellent qualities are there. It's also involved as a part of our mental experience or the mind. And the peace and the tranquility and the harmony also is over there. And we experience in our mind mentally, but that's our mental mind itself. And so mind, if you like, you think of mind, think about the seeds. Think about the field or ground. So ground or field can take in all kinds of plants. Right, can make all kinds of things growing. And similarly, our mind it depends upon the seeds of our thoughts, seeds of our own way of understanding of the phenomena, both internally and externally. So this ground-like, the ground or feel like the mind, and if you do well, and then will reflect. For example, like if you plant a seed, focus on the seeds of decency, peace, and excellent quality, and tranquilities and serenities, whatever, all those wonderful qualities, and because you focus on this, the wonderful aspect or quality aspect of the life and your mind, literally, then what happens is it will, because of your focus on it, you cultivate on that, and will reflect upon it will manifest it through your bodily action and your verbal action. Okay? And of course, your mental action, mental experience will be changed or be transformed accordingly. Right? In other words, because you focus on the excellent and the wonderful spiritual quality of your mind, and then so whatever you at the body level and the bodily, when you're doing things, and it will manifest it the way which is peaceful and humble and harmonious. And free of vices, and at the same time, like verbally, and you will speak very humbly, nicely, honestly, and very beautifully. And of course, mentally, internally, and your experience of your state of being and your life, and everything will be detached, free from the negative qualities such as attachment and desire and aversion or hatred. So this is true when you direct your attention and focus on the specific qualities of your mind, such as kindness, loving, compassion, and altruism. Right? And it will direct you this focusing or the practice and or to express the great appreciation to such a wonderful quality, loving kindness, compassion, altruism. And what happened is that you will acting according to this wonderful quality. So in return, what happened is you feel yourself is really always and have this great sense of being and some sense of meaningful and the great value, and you appreciate your life, and at the same time, and that will affect you or will direct you how to respond to or how to contact or connecting to and acting how to communicate and deal with your family member and your neighbors and the environment in which you brought yourself into it. So, simply speaking, and even more simply speaking, your mind is like a king or the president of the state. Okay? So, president of the state or the king of the kingdom, through the metaphor, we can imagine is the one or the last person or the highest person who make the final decisions. So our mind is like a king, so the rest of the experience of our life, and such as like a body and the abilities of skills of and faculties of related to our body, such as like a speech and the thinkings and all kinds of mental life. They all are is like the ministers and or the workers and the service person of in that involved with the kingdom or under the king's administration or the king's order. So keep this in mind, and then we know that we have to make this great king as the king of compassion, kindness, and king of altruism. So this is again, like I said, when you live, make your mind as the king of compassion and the king of loving kindness, altruism, and you will make yourself someone who is highly appreciated, and and you will naturally make all kinds of wonderful contribution, contribute all kinds of wonderful things to others, and bring yourself to others with a great appreciations. And so the sad news is that if we do not do this, if we do not make effort in this in this spiritual training, and then what happens is if we leave it alone and random, then most likely so we will let our attachment to the friends and beloved one, right? And then we will also, at the same time, we will remain and be hated or denial the others, and because we name or we consider others as an enemy. So we will, in other words, we will leave, or we will hit by two waves of the mental life forces. So the two waves are attachment to the beloved ones and hatred and against toward others. So we will live with in between, and so that would be our living experiences, life experiences. So therefore, we have no choice but to rely on or go back to focus on and to focus on the cultivations of loving kindness and altruism, and that should be our goal, and it should be the purpose of why you're here. And because after all, again, just let me remind you one more time, and today, that is, we all want to be happy, and we all do not want to be suffering. Similarly, others also equally desire for the same thing. And so keep in mind, and think about it. And if you find this really makes sense, also and truly helpful, and then hold on to it and to deepening your understanding and strengthening its force.
아주 파여고지나 파쇼만데 아주 득자지긴. 그래서 대단히 가르치 콜라 소금지고 콜렌 로고로 와네. 좋았대 용하나. 또 기타다 아주 지팅 큰나. 지라 장len 당하는 세 시고다. 이나 말아서 소소한 그 셰럽트 배주던데 셰럽트 말아서 너무 많이 밀라 남수 그 셰럽트 배주던데 어 때지네. 코데지네 콜라 등에 때다는 게 김바다 나 등에 때다 때는 게 김바 등에 때나 나 캐페 콜라 캐페 가르치 말라 캐피모 콜 캐피모 단다 양질 코 말라 양질 니와디 용 양가요 대자다데 야좀 아주 찌똥하네 메일라 피나 라바 사게 요래 네 피나 설마다 드리가 감바보나 스라프요 띵 아주 때다네 어그 메일 측그 당에 메일라 파 카트짜게네 대지트고 뭐다 코랑 징기 때때 파죽들 뭐죠 대지는 소소 메 소소라 마트피 탑름로 자이나지 때데 나지지네 파쇼들라 미 감동미와 남만나 저를 미 가시페 공부 서울다 주방 한번들이 요를 삼아 나무들이 요 저도 소소면이 때 파쇼 때지 나이트 지게세 맞지 파쇼 때지 다냐지 다 코페 샘도 등이죠 샘감비 온도 들어도 장원도 클라랑 요 말에서 냥지 공지 나 코다는 지금 코다냠때 가도 강들 이 아까 능물들이 자투 코이 탑시스라 용화 탑시를 같이 탑시 메나 근데 파랑스지는 전에 뭐 조지 치면은 사동 탐지 고위 갈라롱 한티 탐지 고위도 사동 탐지 어떤 총인데 기 심진 등을 내가 늦자는데 참 매워져기 참아져기인데 남의 용토요 말에 기 심지 지 매워져 뒤 망망을 말로 뭐 어떻게 말되나 가지고 있나 소소고 샘로 조금지 더와이나 조금지는 소소랑이 그 샘송 더와이도 자정송 말에 배나 강비고 한국다 그 사동 탐지 절만 그때 고아 요거나 사동 고위 요토요 말에나 가지고 저런 강바 한국 고아 요즘에 차트 사동 탐지 요거 직발에 The baby is your mother. You may wonder, and upon to hear this kind of very inspirational spiritual conversation or spiritual teachings. And you think that is wonderful, but at the same time, and you might have a question in your mind, think that yes, it's wonderful to be kind and be compassionate, and altruism is definitely a great quality. But what about others? And I mean to be helpful, be kind and nice, and want to do something to help. But others, the other side, instead of recognizing and appreciating me, but actually it turns against me, or never seems to understand or accept my kindness, loving kindness, and my altruistic action. Instead, give me a hard time. And so you may think, what should I do? And in this kind of situation, what is the solution? There's two ways that we handle this kind of situation, right? And so in general, our conventional or the worldly way to deal with the people who has no any appreciation and who just against us, and so normally or conventionally we would do that. So if he or she or they treat me well, I will treat them well, treat him well, and treat her well. That's so like you do good to me, I do the same thing to you. And at the same time, if you do not good to me and bad to me, and so I will do fight back, and so I will do something make you feel hard and painful. So this is the conventional, normal way we handle it.
But this is from Buddhist perspective, the teachings, what we discussed in here, and it's not the way we should handle. Why? Because the Buddhist teaching and or advice to cope with this kind of people or situation is that we need to do it or handle it with wisdom. Okay? In other words, our action towards this kind of difficult people has to be with wisdom. Okay? And so wisdom is this. You think that always think about the long run benefits, and always think that both the immediate and in the long run and the immediate result. See, is there anything that's truly beneficial? Okay. So if it's not that there's no really ultimately there's no any benefits. And you should not fight back like the conventional way or the worldly way. For example, people are different. There are people who, under the special circumstances, under the influence of the developments, and they are kind of, at least in some cases, kind of they are really bad. And they're really mean, and they're highly, very hateful, and they do all kinds of evil things. And it seems that that's who they are. And there are cases, and under special circumstances or under this strong influence of afflictive emotions, and people you will turn in such a way, or make you feel they are just like that. But remember, and when you meet this kind of people, deal with this kind of people, you understand that, and that's their current condition, and that's how they are being sort of controlled by their own negative afflictive emotions. So then if you can change it, right, if you have the power and have the skill and any chances, if you can change the attitude and go for it and try to make a differences. If you cannot make any changes, right, and or cannot change, they change the circumstances under the particular situation, then keep a distance. Right? Keep a distance. In other words, do not directly go into the situation, have any form of confrontation with that person, like a face to face. The reason for this is because in certain cases, and under the strong, again, afflictive emotions and the influence of afflictive emotions, people may turn to like a fire, right? We know fire, by its nature, wherever you see the fire, if you touch the fire with your hands, or put your hands and a finger in the fire, what happens, right? It burns you, right? So naturally, of course, you will not go and put your finger into the fire as soon as you recognize that is a fire. So, and there are beings and whose temperament and whose kind of mental state of being or situation and under situation in such a situation, and so like a fire. So so what you need to do is. And you need to keep a distance. And then also there are people who like a thorn, right? Thorn is by its nature is sharp, right? And it will stingy and make you feel hurt. So obviously you do not go and try to and cuts or doing something and to make that things go away, right? So just again, so if you have the power and you are able to make changes, and so you need to do it, taking care of it, and try to be helpful. If you cannot, and for the time of being, right, and just keep a distance away. So that's what the wise way and the wisdom and need to apply. At this point, it reminds me of Shankideva as a Bodhisattva, the guiding way of life, or Bodhicitta Avatara. And Shankideva famously used an analogy of a piece of leather. A piece of leather that is the size of equal to the size of the bottom of your shoe. Okay, the bottom of the shoe. So imagine you go through the ground or the area where so you have all kinds of thorns and all kinds of very sharp and the harmful the plants or the matters and the things that are all over on the ground. So you cannot obviously remove, right? You need to go other side of that area or the ground. Obviously, you can remove all those plants and or the harmful, dangerous, and bad and materials. So all you need to do is put a piece of leather under your shoe, so cover your feet with that piece of leather, like the hard, strong, and material to cover your feet, and so that way, and you can go over, right, without remove all the harmful objects from the ground. You can go over reach your the other side of the ground. Similarly, so and with the wisdom, like the wisdom we teach, we are learning here, and you can definitely to fix and to deal with the difficult situations and difficult peoples. That's all.
딱 something 막 로그라 주다고 되는 막 어떤 선수 비판시 그때나 시송화도 로베선 있고 공통 봐 공으로 벌써비 더 전부 지발하고 그리고 뭐 많이 봐 강질라 통나 할사피 리기 디파탄 선버시 봐 등을 동 지바 탐질 리고버시 봐 동원토 등에로 탐질 서버시 시와 Jimbership on Song Yansu, Spali Shungui, Marking Montao, Sanji Silui, Yetimo Mayimbi, Newa, Yen Sound, Tombo Tower, Sanji Senpai, Tony Yantakwani, the Latua, the Chip, Danjo, Tony David, Shade the Bad, Shade the Yuba, Kawaton, the Chetasamba, watching for Sanji Sel. Don't the long one, the Daki, near Palover, Nieto, Yamni, and you were the Shitapo. 이월 같이 오시다 상치 샘기 편식과 나 상치 샘세 그 섬지 탐지 대화 동담바 듣는 거 저와 뒤쳤더니 너 오늘도 무슨 얘기 있는데 나 삼도 상치 샘세 때 많이 당고 못 봤음지라면 못 봤음지 섬지 등을 뒤째고 섬지 탐지 등을이 통내 등을 뒤째고 저와 낙지 와라다 소도 니와 가면서 소도特别这等啊都会上一句广告透过就是上路的上次审的，我到上次审的俺们屋里了，跟这个你话这个第二个国空局有的，这单俺们的哦，的接纳呢，上次审的一来接送的，那个他们就早是对吧？他们上班是给你话得了有的是，俺那这个我头等那个呢，接完那些话他们就上一的马头几把的，你们的当米里的头皮，你话得了有的是，这个是呢，送了他们这个。타바체보 치 탑지비 조자로 조진의 타바체보 남라치비 고도 상치 세미는 세월때 아니 집이다 오마트네나 말레바나지 소로 탑지지 용돈도 가 삼로도 톨 특대로 산지 조금 못 버리지 이제로데 상치 셈차다 그래서 된다다 아니 말기 힘공 따오르지 로트모 때 트모 많이 비네 성지지 사원 저월시 비 니와요 때가 요르스 때다 파인 때도 삼지 못지 봐줘 대자 파인도 조요 샘라 잡아지네 오 되게 성지 시스템데 파인 첨부지 그래 대자 당에 이제랑 어떻게 고고 삼 방도 대응전 쿼터 와이나 아니 저런 멋지도 동다 맞춰 그래 스타 성주서 여러 시발 들어가도 이렇게 특종을 말. 다 샘진 담진 당보 잔임 양념지 동용 좀 봐지더니 배 같은 첨부인 봐 진짜 봐지 준소와지 뜻이 월든 샘진 담지 같은 첨부인 봐지다 샘진 이직된 니칸 수소전이 마 같은 첨부로 마인 봐고 다들 마시 전전 소소 다들 봐도 이거 사인 맞는 거 되는 거라.
그래서 Okay, so now if you will, please go to your translation, page 45.
This, okay.
And page 45, and the second, start with the second paragraph.
Yeah.
And here, the author share the following teachings with us. It says that so the awakening mind is explained in this way as the exclusive entrance for venturing into the great vehicle that enables you to accomplish the state of completely awakened beings. The moment it is born within your mind stream, all the obstructions from previously accumulated actions are burned up. It acts to protect you from all the miseries and the fears. It begins to provide you with the inexhaustible fruit of higher states of rebirth and the definite goodness of liberation. It is like the quintessential butter arising from the churning of the ocean of scriptures. It is like the seed that is the exclusive proximate cause leading you to the fully awakened state of being. In realizing such a benefits of the awakening mind, your heart strings should resound with the joy, for although life as a free and fortunate human being generally provides you with the opportunities to practice the sacred doctrine, the wonderful discovery of the chance to practice the awakening mind specific to the great vehicle is sure to be the source of great encouragement. This is an event of major importance. So from the above reading, and we know that the essentially, and this is this paragraph essentially told us or point out the inexpressible or the remarkable, excellent, and wonderful spiritual quality, or the enormous the benefits of the altruistic intention of bodhicitta. And so what is bodhicitta and why it's so important, why it is so beneficial, right? And it's going to be so substantial and helpful and extremely and powerful. And as we heard from the reading, that because of this altruistic intention to attain the enlightenment for the benefits of all sentient being, and the action or the actual active altruistic intention, the actual, not just wishing for, right? And the actual altruistic, active altruistic intention, and we will fulfill our desire, right? And temporary desire as well as the ultimate desire. A goal of the temporary goal of the life for the life, and ultimate goal for the life, not only for ourselves but for others as well. And this is because when you look in the essence of this altruistic intention, or altruistic intention to attain the enlightenment for the benefits of all sentient beings, as conventional awakening mind, and the active altruistic intention, and that's the actual practice. And so you will see that it has the two aspects. It's very sacred, and the practice we call the bodhicitta, or the awakening mind, has two aspects. One aspect is that you be inspired or aimed to help out, to help or to save or to address, help people, all sentient beings free from the sufferings. So that's your first aspect of an altruistic intention, or the bodhicitta. So you are so inspired with that. You're going to helpful. You're going to free all sentient beings. And the second, with this in mind, then you have that actual action to fulfill this desire, or to fulfill this altruistic intention. That intention, that second aspect is you aimed to attain the Buddhahood yourself. Because when you have the great intention, you want to be helpful to address, to fix all sentient beings and the sufferings. Then you after you had this mind being setting, or you had this generated this altruistic intention in your mind, then so you will immediately find out you're in the current or in the present moment, and as far as the ability or the capacities are concerned, you are not that powerful, or you don't have such an ability, skills, and to fully doing what you desire to do, or what you really wish to do. Okay, so then what happens? So you upon to realize this reality, your current situation, then you're determined, right? Put yourself into the actual practice of the bodhicitta to develop the skill, to develop the wisdom, and to become, right, to move on to the to reach the actual goal of Buddha, because you realize that only by achieving the Buddhahood yourself, then you will be able, or you will be in the position, able to address all sentient beings' suffering, and you can help out all sentient beings with your with the omniscience, okay, omniscience, and with the all-knowing the wisdom. And this is the ultimate, of course. Ultimately, that's the benefits or the power, and you can develop, and then the benefits you can enjoy. But temporarily, for the time of the being, as the temporary and life, the benefits of life is concerned, among all the methodologies, to practice bodhicitta, to try to generate bodhicitta, and then follow that, the take action, actual action, according to that altruistic intention, is that you will naturally secure your next rebirth. Okay, your next rebirth, reborn as a human being, and to continue to obtain the form of body that will have the greater fortune and freedom to continue to practice such a wonderful spiritual practice, the bodhicitta, and being born again as a human being, and pursuing the Buddhahood self. It will be guaranteed, because the practice bodhicitta is the cause, the most powerful cause that will secure and ensure you to obtain the perfect, precious human rebirth. And secondly, by developing the bodhicitta, whatever the negativities or the negative karma you have ever committed, you have ever done the harmful things to others, or any vices you committed prior to this moment, in terms of the purification. So among all the practices, the practice of bodhicitta will be the most powerful method that it will help you to purify all the negative karma that you accumulated mentally, bodily, and verbally. And also, as like the text says, practice bodhicitta, understand the bodhicitta, and practice it. This a wonderful awakening mind will continue to ensure you not only to allow you, but enable you to enter into the Mahayana and practice Mahayana teaching tradition, and at the same time will make you to achieve your ultimate goal, to help others by or through the achievement of Buddhahood. So now, as far as the actual sort of a specific practice is concerned, what do you do, right? As so you wish you helpful, be helpful, and to address the sufferings of all beings. But then you also realize that you are powerless, and you cannot do as who you are now. So the only way you realize that is to be Buddha, to be a fully enlightened one. So how you become a fully enlightened one. So again, among all the practices, the practice of bodhicitta is like here says, the quintessential. It's like essence of the ocean of the milk. So if you stir the ocean of the milk, and you know that what you can produce from this stirring is that you will produce the butter. The essence of milk is this butter. So you approach all the Buddha's doctrine and scriptures, the knowledge of scripture, and so the essence of and the butter, like the quality of all Buddha's teachings, doctrine, is this bodhicitta. And this bodhicitta can be represented by many different practices. One of the very important practices here is the 7 quintessential instructions of cause and effect. So what it is that the practice is, and so first of all, and so we sit down and to reflect our life and the realities of the sentient beings in our life. So this reflection and would help you to recognize that all sentient beings are your mother, or has been at some point in the past life, previous life, has been your mother, or at least and so that it's you. They would be or somewhere in this like mother. So look at the all sentient being and through the understanding of reincarnation, right? The process of reincarnation, you know that all sentient being has been your mother, right? Which is the reality. So just like the mother in this lifetime, right? And you all and her and you all and you recognize the kindness of your mother in this lifetime. So then take the kindness of your mother in this lifetime, and then think of the mothers in the past lifetime. So this way you will see all sentient being as a mother. So this will bring to you and or help you to develop a very genuine, sincere closeness, okay, closeness with others. And then you will see, you will develop the attitude, develop the mind, and now you began to see everyone, and they are kind, very kind to you, has been very kind to you, and you owe them, right? As soon as you recognize it and their kindness, and you will develop the sense of you need to return to something. You want to return that kindness, right? And so, and then the way to return that kindness is to address, help them free from the suffering and causes of suffering. And then, of course, in order to do that, you will take action to further to enhance your ability. In other words, to develop, deepening your wisdom, and to strengthening your skills of compassion and loving kindness. So think about this and reflect this all again and again in your mind, right? So it will naturally help you to feel that everyone is the differences. The sense of division and which you drawn artificially in your mind, say and. They are my beloved ones, and then those are my enemies, and there are others, or I don't know, and so you kind of you become careless or have this apathy and the attitude of apathy, and it will be naturally removed. And so you will start your attitude towards all sentient being with equanimity, and then by developing this clear sense of equanimity, and then you can go in further, right, and become very objectively, right, and very objectively, and to see and understanding and your conditions of life and others' conditions of life. And
Chinese 경직이 나서부터 하셔야 돼. Chinese 가야네. 많이 유튜브 마 샤르치네. 많이 유튜브 마 샤르치는 거 당고. 사람이 동조 많이 받는 분들 당고들 같은 때 Chinese 그거니 이게 부마다 마 샤르오네. 거기니 통초니 이와데 소소 참 선바지와니 때 그저 말한 소소단 로아서 심지 탐저랑이 조선 로아서 탐지가 다 거진 담아데 마 도로 진짜도 소소 팀송 삼제네. 대로 이제 다만 메리 돈을 로 찍고를 뒤쳐주시래. 대자때다 냥지 여러분 맞노총 기축 준주주 대동송 대자때니가 also teacher the mujine so we mujine so 선지 로아 다 세대 동시 막 그저 로아스미 탐지 그 셀라네 샴당 향지 성스 셈 통송 통하게 되지 만약에 또 노때 세대 이게 섬때 링메 섬 통거지 만약에 세대가 샤바당 까지나 접동 천둔지나 아니 발마당 노르보세 보르 노르보세 해야 돼 근데 성치 셈 통거를 성치 셈 노르보데 이거는 소 노비든 탄지 접하던 성치 셈 요나 젠든 저와라 나초 저와라서 말와메 버 젠지든 접트요 니와지가 됐자 성치 셈 당때네 발마세데 천둔 셰럽도 요나 소소 있는데 아니 셰럽게 일단 발만 담먹는 게 나라 군담기 막이 정말 요나 성치 셰럽도 있단 말로 지금 스템 망고스기 너네 셰럽도 야기 용 셰럽도 통용도 섬지스기도 내리고 맡았지 또 어떻게 여자 어떤 이게 섬지 니와 지금 가서 샘부터 말하고 샘부터 사는데 니와 치수이 차다 니와 치우 샘도 인원도 겨울 지금 홈세드 땡중도 땡ning 종화했던 거 여러타 저를 지금 사실로도 관계도 실질로 땡땡이 종화진에 땡중 오고 지여자 특히 더하게 니와 줘서 특히 올 수 없지 그래서 아무튼 이 많이 듣더니 애용들을 냠때니 어때 범죄 담바 동물다 어떻지 전도하인지 범죄 까마치 그런데 많이 돈이 대상부터 범죄했어 돈 없습니다
그래서 공당이때 공원대에서 죽어요 사례인데 타마지 체진 동근스 거봐
어레 오마네 밤에 오마네 밤에 오마네 밤에 오마네
이게 동근스 거래
어떻게 놀아
어야 나서 너도 되게 되는데 이거 너도 qabla다 아니 이게 수수 제리즈 곰 안제리즈 그 특간에 많이 유튜브 통도 거고노게 되니 거니 아니 르바 당보데 데 아니 니바데 랑다 삼제
말 르바 당보 많이 당보도 많이 제리즈 특간데 게 코르도 많이 때 섬동니 니와들 때니 랑다 니와 초딩 아롱도 타고 마 초용 수삼제 네
니와데 랑가 거르데
랑다 니와 제리즈 특간 마 초딩 송삼 근데 선바도 많이 선바도 소소 탈라 거르니 많이 좋아도 소소랑 그 셈라 팀송 선제 팀들이 소소랑 그 셈네 지금 잠당 향지라 수가 총원지네 로아스 땅가도 뭐 바강을 치고나 공속 뒤땅 뒤게나 정치 선당 향지 총송 셈 되는 도야지
yeah. This is okay. So, like as I demonstrated the way how we chanting and the mantra of Buddha of compassion, the Om Mani Padme Hum. So, in other words, and I should say that now we're going to meditate. We're going to practice today's meditation session. During today's meditation session, I'd like to encourage you and I invite you to recite in the mantras of Avalokiteshvara Buddha of Compassion. We're going to do this 4 times. So we need to do the following visualization. Before we do the following visualization, and let me tell you why I wish you to do this and today is because first of all, Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra of Buddha of Compassion is a stand for or is to represent the enlightened quality, the enlightenment itself, and the Buddha's enlightened quality, and. So I wish to do it and invite you to do it today with me is because other than to develop our ultimate to develop our bodhicitta or the awakening mind, and so one of the reason is that today is the first anniversary of Mary Patterson. We call her Amma Mary. Amma Mary is a passing, and today is the first anniversary. I would like to invite you to honor and her by reciting the Om Mani Padme Hum. Secondly, and the paths. Did you do the Amma Mary Vela? Yeah. So and so we also have a very beautiful and very cute pet and 명은 누구시그러와?
노총.
Norchong. So Norchong, those of you probably haven't seen him around in the past. So he also passed, and so because of these two immediate events, and so I would like to, and also we discussed about bodhicitta and the benefits of the bodhicitta. So, and I think it's appropriate and a nice thing for us to meditate on the bodhicitta, the Avalokiteshvara's mantra, Buddha of Om Mani Padme Hum, and to honor the Amma Mary, and also prayer for the little pet and his passing. Okay, here's the thing: how you recite mantra in your meditation. So first of all, imagine that again you have to apply your understanding of shunyata, or the emptiness, right? And the shunyata or emptiness, or the nature of reality. So apply and reflecting upon the ultimate reality or the nature of reality, the shunyata, and then visualize that above in the space above you, and there's an image of the Buddha Avalokiteshvara who appeared very vividly, and like whatever the knowledge you have, and like the images of him and the sitting positions and so on and so forth. And then imagine that around his heart and heart chakra, and the sixth syllable of mantra, the Om Mani Padme Hum, the six syllables are and spin around, circling around his heart chakra, and when you say and Om Mani Padme Hum, remember that the six syllables has a
Om set, ligang isamchi, ma set, mani set, shandan yangchi, donc tabshi yu chong kursiga. Om set tenjong to zamne om man bang dangbo to su janis ka de yiwa ni ma tone. Samba de ngang su tala por jiwa to sunga su 김송 수션 방향식 들어가지 데리고 있다고.
이제 천천히.
노트.
So I will continue what Chansdu was saying. So Geshe-la just mentioned the very explanation of the six syllable, the Om, which represent the body, speech, and mind, and the Mani and Padma, which represent the wisdom and compassion, and Hum is represent the dependent originations. So when we say this prayer, so we have to think of the compassions, wisdom, and the dependent originations.
그러다 많이 당고도 또 자리에서 가기 거리도 자리에서 던지도 안에 시험당 향시당 예치네도 되게 특가니 니와로도 생활하고 마톤 선바들 말로 다 버지와도 말로 수팅 말로 수수 시험당 향시당 예치 직송서 많이 받게 된다.
And when we say the prayers, the visualization is very important. So we have to visualize the Buddha of compassion, which is the pictures right here, the handed Buddha of compassion image. And so when we say this, we have to have the vivid image of the Buddha of compassions appear the front of the us. And as you say the mantra, the six syllable Om Mani Padme Hum, you can think of the Buddha is surrounded by your body. And as you said, that which eventually it will dissolve into the core of your heart. So as you thinking that the Buddha of compassion dissolve into your mind or your heart, at the same time you can think of the sentient beings, And also same time they can experience that whatever I'm experiencing and dissolving that Buddha compassions or the very compassion's wisdom and dissolving into their mind and their heart. So you can think of the sentient beings past and whoever passed away, whoever presently alive, and also think of their future benefits and so on.
그래서 이미 오지하고 사실 정말 오지 잡아서 제가 오지 사진을 잡고 사진관가 오지 잡는 데는 매매 통해서 정도 통하는 거라서 근데 자들 지금 특히 그냥 현재 동안 내가 신기로 내가 알아서 제가 요 현재 샤바든지 그래서 어떤 상태인 거지.
The when you have a kind of like how am I able to do this? So it's like an example. Geshe-la gave us like a sun. As soon as sun rise, the power of the sun, the light or the radiations, it touches every ground and every nature and every trees and flower. Where the very power, it also causes the blossoming and the flowers and the trees and so on. Similarly, when we are able to touch the very power and the compassions and wisdom from the Buddha of compassions, and we can think of the same time, I'm able to rise the sense of the compassions and loving kindness. So as we say the mantra, which is if you need the reference, you can use the recitation book on page number 70, page number 70, the first verse. First we will say one time the first verse, and then later we will say the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum. We'll say a couple of times. So you can say this mantra while you're doing visualizations practice.
Amen.